Become fabulous millionaires. BFM 89.9.
It's Caroline and Ezra on the Evening Edition's Top 5 at 5. Our next story takes a look at special needs education, and it seems that the Education Ministry is in the midst of preparing a blueprint to focus on this.
Yep, that's right. So they have a vision. This includes a vision for the hearing impaired to have a recognized degree course in sign language education in local universities, something they call deaf education classrooms in every state, a grading system for qualified sign language translators. I don't know, coming up to 60 years of independence, I think it's about time.
Yeah, well, certainly. And I think when you think about the past few years, I mean, the conversation on education has been vibrant, to say the least. And of course, we saw a big move by the Education Ministry in terms of introducing a blueprint. I feel that sometimes the fact that we need to have a separate blueprint when it comes to focusing on special needs education, I feel that is another indicator that the blueprint that was released in the past couple of years wasn't taking a look at things holistically.
Yeah, no, I would agree with. I mean, this vision, it really underscores where we currently stand, isn't it? I mean, if you think about it, just having a recognized degree course, classrooms in every state. I mean, are these objectives particularly lofty? I would say no. They're pretty much the fundamentals, right? They're blunt tools, to say the least. Yeah. It is very much representation across the board, and we've said this before. You're not prioritizing it, so. We didn't say this. I think Gandhi said this. Right? A nation is judged by how it treats its weakest.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're crossing over to V. Murugeswaran from the Damai Disabled Person Association Malaysia. Murugeswaran, thank you for joining us and talk to us about this. This move by the Ministry of Education. It's certainly welcome. But do you think we have the right resources in understanding and recognizing special needs education?
Firstly, I would like to congratulate the government for making such a wonderful move, actually. Basically, at this point, our Akta Orang Kurang Upaya was passed in 2008. And after that, I think they should have actually started doing this thing long time ago. But never mind, nothing is too late. Regarding about the resources, I think we got ample of resources. Even if you don't have it, the experts in Malaysia, we can always hire someone from other countries like Japan and Australia. I think they are very good role model in actually making inclusive education systems successful in this country. We can always find external resources also to actually train our local teachers for them to be ready for this. I don't think that will be an issue at all.
Right. And what do you think needs to take place for this special needs education blueprint to be really effective and meaningful?
Since this is a blueprint, is kind of in a very pioneer stage at the moment, I would like to actually encourage the government to do a thorough study. They need to run maybe a few workshops, inviting all the leaders from the disabled society to give them their input to make sure that nothing is actually not taken into account. That is very, very important. And also, this workshop must be represented by all the ministry representatives as well. Not only Education Ministry, but all other ministries' representatives also must be there in order for them to give their views and comments, so that this blueprint that will come out is going to be come out and going to be used for a long time. And disabled people, for them to catch up in the rapidly growing developed country, is a bit difficult if the education system in these countries are not fully accessible for them.
Right. And could you talk to us about the current educational opportunities for students with disabilities? Is it always easy for these students to study in, say, local universities, for example?
At the moment, I think the amount of students are going to universities, the numbers have increased compared to last time. But in primary, secondary standards, I think we need to upgrade our accessibility in the schools, especially when they talk about inclusive education system. Inclusive education system, which means that students, regardless of handicap condition or severely, will be in a regular classes or attend all the full program. And they also must be able to participate in the co-curriculum activity with the able-bodied student as well. We need to study back and look into the resources of the teachers, the infrastructure of the building, the education material, and all these things must be looked into it seriously, because we have various kind of disabilities in the country. So we need to look into that also. So the teachers must be trained, well trained, in order for them to cope up with this need.
Sure. And Murugaswaran, thank you very much for that. That was V. Murugaswaran from the Damai Disabled Person Association, Malaysia.
Yeah, but you know what? It very much echoes what you were talking about a little earlier about how inclusive we are when we take a look at, I suppose, education as a whole, and whether, whether or not we consider. Because as an example, he talked about economies that are far more advanced when it comes to special needs education. And the rhetoric there is a lot more comprehensive or sophisticated, either way you look at it. I mean, it's not just educating special needs students, but, other students, making sure that the ecosystem works. So it's teachers, society, and it spans across primary schools, secondary schools, and even going out into the workplace, and policies that actually are inclusive.
Absolutely. And I think when the government is thinking about putting together a blueprint, I'd like to echo what our guest just said. There needs to be a greater connection and discussions with all of the NGOs who are on the ground, who are doing such great work across different states with very little facilities, but still providing as much education as possible to those in need. We've got more stories coming up on the Evening Edition's Top 5 at 5, but here's some music by Save Ferris. The World is New. BFM 89.